Welcome everyone to the House of Dre's podcast. I am your host Dre himself, and welcome to the podcast. Today's podcast, we are focusing on books reborn as television shows. Yes, that is the topic for today's podcast. I think we can just dive straight into this, right? Let's just jump straight into it. For very long time. You can go back as far as you want to through the history of movies. Every movie, almost majority of movies come from books, from the Dumbos, from the what are their names? They are the Grimm Brothers fairy tale stories. To your sci-fi movies that you guys love, Star Trek, Star Wars, from your Marvels and DCs, from anything and everything. They come from a source material. Majority of those source materials happens to be books. Now, lately, especially in the 2020s alone, books are on their way to being remade for the television audience. But why is that the case? Let's dive into today's podcast and figure out why. We're focusing on the plots, world building, and fleshing out characters for each book. Let's be honest here. Let's talk about it. So, when you get movies, when you get you let me name something. I have to think. Let's go with Harry Potter. Let's go with Harry Potter. I have not watched all of Harry Potter myself. Why? I don't know. I just haven't. I just watched the first movie and I ain't even finished the first movie just yet. So people like me sometimes, when we go in there into a movie theater where we have no knowledge of the books, we've heard of them but never read them ourselves. We go to these movie theaters and we see what they are introducing to us, how they're building the world, who's the main character, why do we care, why are we trying to connect with the main character, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It depends on how many movies we get. That's how much time and effort we are putting into the movies ourselves. So for the Harry Potter universe, one for me personally, I've heard of Harry Potter. When did I hear about him? I want to say it was about either third or fourth grade. I want to say there's a kid that I knew. We was in the same class. We was at the library, and he went out. And he had the Harry Potter books. And if you know how big Harry Potter books are, they have they're pretty big, right? In my personal opinion, they're pretty big for a child to be holding around, looking for them in the libraries and stuff. But when when I noticed him for the first time, I was like, "Hey, what's this?" And he was like, "This is Harry Potter." Um, whatever thing he was saying. I was like, all right, bet that's what's up. When I got to take a look at it, I was like, man, that's kind of heavy, ain't it? And he's like, just one I like. Awesome, amazing. That's definitely amazing. I can't say nah, that's bad. You shouldn't be doing that. No, it's that's just what he likes to. That was something that he enjoyed to read. Harry Potter has a major following, not only just from book fans themselves, but for people who went and watched the movies. When the movies, what they do is you get you get a minimum of 3 hours, right? I don't think there's many movies that passes the go to the 4 or 5 hour movies. There's no such thing, because then people are going to complain about it. Right now we're in the midst of people complaining about the length of movies and stuff. But there's hardly any movies out there that goes 4 or 5 hours deep. That's just a part one and a part two. As if it's not all together, it's not happening. So when taking that movie, the very first Harry Potter movie, and you're reducing it to a television show, you can do a lot more. Television show allows you to expand it per season, per book, per season. So, like you guys should know, Harry Potter is one of the movies that is getting remade by HBO. HBO decided they want to go ahead and make this a television series. They have already got a cast out. They're starting casting people already for the books. And apparently each season will host to one book. There are 7 books, I'm not mistaken. Is it 7 books? I think there's 7 books to the Harry Potter world. 7 books meaning at least 7 episodes per not 7 episodes, 7 seasons, 7 seasons per book, 7 seasons, 7 books. How many episodes? I don't know. We'll assume they're going to be hour-long episodes, doing as much as possible. With that being said, when they get from now that they're gonna be on television shows and they can do more in-depth tells and stuff, that means we get to focus a lot more on per characters outside of just Harry. We know who Harry is. We know who his two friends are. We know those three. We know the three. We know the three-headed ones. Now we get to see the other kids, the ones that play a factor into the show. And we get to see their upbringing. We get to see their backstories. We get to see a little bit more from that character rather than just, oh, this is Harry, this is so and so, this is so and so. That's it. That's all you need to know. No, no. Now we get to dive more into who they are, why they're here, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What happened to them? We get to see that. It's being able to be more faithful to the books. And we talked about it in the last week about the AI art and stuff like that and about everything about that, right? Well, now here in the television series, we get to see if they can actually bring the world of Harry Potter to the television screen that they couldn't do on the main screen. You bring and normally, from my personal opinion and from what I've seen, normally from movies and stuff, they have a very limitation of how they can go ahead and create the backgrounds and stuff, and how many times they want to put that in the shot. You know what I'm saying? It's almost gonna be impossible to do it. So instead of them just limiting, oh yeah, we're gonna do a little bit here. No, no, no. Now they have a chance to actually branch it out, create it more, and branch it, and we can see more of the beautiful world that is Harry Potter. Now, once again, I'm not deep into Harry Potter. I have no idea. I don't know. So I'm gonna switch it over from Harry Potter. I'm gonna talk about the Percy Jackson series. Percy Jackson is something that I've read personally. I've read the first 5, and I was still reading on the side ones. I still haven't caught up yet, but I can tell you that comparing the books to what I got from the live action movies, that didn't hit. It didn't hit. There was a lot of missed opportunity. I mean, there was a lot of things that they did just to push the movie, but it negated the entire storyline that is Percy Jackson. There is the age limit stuff. When you go into Percy Jackson, the movies, you notice that children are already pretty much teenagers. Well, this is a major factor into the Percy Jackson lore in the Percy Jackson books, that at a certain age, they could legitimately destroy the world. So what are we doing? The movie wise, they was pushing it up just to push the movie. Cool, no problem. If you want to do that, that's no problem. But when you have the authors asking and telling you guys how to do it and where to do it, and how it should be done, and they like, no, we're good. That's become an issue. Since then, they have went ahead and remade them into a live television series. Percy Jackson, the Olympics, the television series, they got that going on. The first season, absolutely beautiful. There's some stuff they probably still missed out on, but this is the author who wrote the books, has his hands in the directing and the casting and the way he wants the story to evolve. If that's the case, cool, no problem. I'm hands off. You know what I'm saying? I can only complain just to complain. He did write those books back in like 2002 or something, like the first one. So he's not gonna get everything he probably remembers. He just knows his stuff. You know what I'm saying? He just knows what he can remember, and probably took out stuff, and then he get to add new stuff that we didn't see in the books at all, which makes it even better. So, in my personal opinion, spending more time for the story, developing the characters, developing relationships, developing side characters, developing small plots that becomes major plots later on, or something that was hinted to in the very beginning, and now we get a chance to watch it expand. I think it does great for the television series more than just the movies itself. Another spot we're going to focus on happens to be fixing or even expanding on what the original movies were trying to do. You know what I'm saying? What were they trying to do? Like we have so many examples to where, not so many examples, but we have so many incidents to where these popular books that get turned to movies, they take out stuff that's fans are like, why did you take that out for? That is very important to the story. Why is this being changed? Just to fit what they want to see on a movie screen. You have to remember, you guys, you do have to remember, there's a lot of things that they will take a gander look at it. They don't like everything. They just take a look at certain things. They snatch it, and they added on there. They're like, yeah, this looks better. Perfect example. We could do perfect example, which was happen to be the Marvel MCU, the extended universes. When it comes to those characters, a lot of people get upset about how they do the stories, but it's like, hey, they're not using just Captain America. No, they're taking 3 to 4 different versions of Captain America from four different comic styles, or comic books in general. They're taking what they like about that version of those characters and they add it into this MCU version of Captain America. That's why we're like, why is it this? Why is like this supposed to be this? This supposed to be this? But then you have to take a look at it. And, oh yeah, well, this is their universe. This is what they want to see on the big screen. This is what they think there should be. They're not gonna go 100% based off of, well, in this storyline, Captain gets 3 girls pregnant and they all have children or something. Well, the MCU was like, yeah, we're not doing that. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna change that. We're gonna make it say he was just dating one girl. He's always had this one girl for forever. That's about it. We're not gonna adopt this part of Captain America. Oh, did you know Captain America? Technically, yeah, he's a super soldier, but he's kind of lazy too. We're not adopting that part. We're going to adopt that Cap is a non-lazy person, that he was always active when he and he's always in the right. We're going to focus on that part. We're not going to focus on this part at all. The Cap doesn't get depressed. It's small things like that. But when changes to your favorite books become massive, that's when it really messes up. And speaking of changes to the books and stuff, so expanding and fixing what the movies messed up on, we also have to take a look at another thing, that is technology. Technology has, in quote unquote, increased. You know what I'm saying? I think just the budget wise and what they couldn't do back in the day compared to what they can do nowadays. I and it depends on who you are. Depends on who you are, because some of y'all know that, in my personal opinion, I feel like there's a lot of, when technology wise, I feel like there's a lot of things that they took from us and said that we didn't need anymore, that we still do need, or they take it away and then bring it back. Doesn't matter though. Doesn't matter. But the technology wise, for um they're generating for their shows into books and stuff that they didn't do it in the movies. So, example, when I'm watching a Percy Jackson series, and he's there's certain things he could do, but then with certain things he can't do. One of the things that he could not add, what happens to be, what it was, the 100 eye security guard that was for Camp Half Blood. That's something in a book that doesn't put on a TV series. It's because he's like, the budget wouldn't allow us to do this. The budget, but we had the idea, we had it kind of built out for it, but and the budget alone told us we couldn't do that because we're spending too much on just this one character, and we can use this budget for literally everything else. So we had to skip that part. We had to get over that part. We had to get rid of that part. So technology helps out expanding some stuff that they couldn't expand on or even try to add in the first place, which, like I said, that's always a good thing for the technology to involve, so the quality looks even better. For we got a couple books that turn from the Last of Us as an example, Game of Thrones as an example, the Walking Dead comic book that became a comic into a television show. They was able to, the longer it went, the more they was able to evolve with the technology and able to do more for their shows, which is good. Can't say it's not good. That's good. That's always good to bring forth when it comes to making these and involving the ideal behind everything, in my personal opinion alone, though. And the last couple of things I want to discuss happens to be, one, new generation of fans, always wonderful, and two, the streaming services effect. So let's focus on the new fans. The new fans, my children, both of my children, as they get older and they start reading more books. Maybe they own their daddy's books. Hopefully, they read these books and stuff, and then they see it on the big screen, television wise, even on the movie wise. They appreciate what they read before they watched it. I think that's something that it is missing in today's youth, which I don't know if they still do this or not, but back in the day, I say back in the day like I'm old, but back in the early 2000s or so, the 2000s and even to the early 2010s position, give or take, you was told, I mean, you got a book. They gave you this book. It's like a class assignment, but everybody read this book together. You read the book. After you finish the book, you get to watch the film, and then you get to compare the two to one another. So, one of the books we had to read was The Outsiders. We had to read the book first, which I enjoy reading the book because it felt like there was a lot more details and it seemed like there was a lot of crazy stuff that was happening. And then you compare that to the live action movie. The movie was cool, but it's like I felt like these parts, the big brawl that they had between the groups, the two groups going back and forth. I felt like the way they describe everything, the punching, all the stuff that was happening, it felt like it should have been a bigger moment. And in the movie, I feel like they didn't capture that. I'm like, that looks weak. That kind of looks weak. Then that other side, like, well, they are actors and stuff. Like, yeah, but I want to make it as close as possible and good as possible as possible. And that's something they did fail on. So for new generation fans who are now becoming Harry Potter fans, they're becoming The Last of Us fans, they're becoming Percy Jackson fans, they're becoming fans of Stephen King, they're becoming fans of I don't have a book next to me, whatever book's possible. When they becoming new fans, they want to see these on a big screen. They're like, oh yeah, 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 yeah. And then they can compare it book to movie. And then if the movie doesn't succeed, then book to TV series. And it's like, okay, this is a brighter day. I think I think what slows it down, in my personal opinion, when it comes to how the new fans going to look at it, is the fact that it's going to take so many years for us to get a live television, the TV series version of the book. Instead, we have to wait for the book to be 10 years old, and then they're like, okay, we can go ahead, we can do this now. So like, wait, why we wait so long, man? Why do we wait so long? Why couldn't we do this day one? Why couldn't we do this a year later? Why you waited 10 years to where a lot of people has to go back, reread everything, and then go into this TV series with a fresh new set, which is cool because then the author and them are getting paid for you to go out to read the books. But at the exact same time, we're like, this should have been happening. You know, we needed this. We getting it now, but you waited so long. You waited so long. So I think new fans are gonna definitely appreciate the if this the route that the books are taking, is to go from books to TV series, and they're spending so much time to build this TV series because it's supposed to be real good, I think that's better. Hopefully that is the new trend, to where what if it's a one-off book where they can do a full movie and they capture the book, perfect, good. If it's a series, I think all series should be television shows. Don't put them in movies because it's not going to work out that well, in my personal opinion. This allows you to dive deep into everything that you need to dive deep into and hit on everything that you need to hit on to when it comes to that popular television series. This translation to the streaming services, Netflix, Hulu, Peacock, Amazon, HBO, all these places, they need this. They desperately need this to work out long term wise, in my personal opinion. We are at this time of age of the streaming services to where there's some people who are moving away from it, but we the reason why we go to streaming services is because having cable, especially in the early 2000s, let's be honest here. I'm being straight honest. We didn't have cable as much as I would like to have cable during that time frame, is because it was expensive, you know what I'm saying? To get all the channels, to get movie channels. That was it. Just to get all of that, just to get quote unquote 500 plus channels, you're paying a good $100 or something like that, and that was in the early 2000s, and that's expensive when you're in a single family parent home or something like that. It's hard if you are working on your own and you're trying to provide while also making sure you have enough entertainment for not only for you, but if you have children, it's very difficult to do. That's a lot of money being spent for cable itself. When streaming service started really popping off, and started getting that stuff, is more doable. $6.99 a month, no problem. $8.99 a month, no problem. $7.99 a month, no problem. No problem with that. We can do that. We can expand that. We can decide when it comes out and stuff. We can do that. streaming services need this to work out heavily, because outside of just movies where they do ad, movies are what, 2 hours, 3 hours max, maybe 3 hours and a half, 2.5 hours max. That's about it. Television series is what people are coming to you for. You know what I'm saying? I got Netflix. Why you got Netflix for? Because I'm watching anime. I'm watching these TV series. I'm watching stuff that's a little bit longer than just a regular 2-3 hour movie. I'm looking for more details. I'm looking for a fun time. I'm watching Insecure, the TV series. I'm watching the documentaries of the Tylenol murderers. I'm watching these because they broke them down into the series part, and I get to watch a full hour, come back the next day, another hour, come back the next day, finish it off. I'm good to go. I'm good to go. Streaming service, they're going to need this to work out on the long run to help them out too, because they'll need this. They need to be successful. That way, they can keep adding that to their platform to say, we're the only TV series that have Percy Jackson. Hey, we're the only TV series that's going to have your Last of Us and your Harry Potter. Hey, we got Divergent over here. What you looking at? Why are you going over there? We got Divergent. You remember that show? Wait, that movie? We got the series now. Come on over. Come on this way. It'll help them out long term wise. It'll help us out as fans to watch this in the long term wise. My personal opinion. But overall, closing thoughts, my personal opinion, I'm happy. I'm happy. That gives me hopes for, as a fantasy book writer. So I write fantasy books. As a fantasy book writer, this gives me hopes that maybe my stuff can come out there on a TV screen, and it's on Netflix, it's on Hulu, it's on Peacock, it's on whatever TV series, and it's done correctly. My involvement, of course. And I don't have to worry about it going to the movie theaters and they're saying, yeah, this part's not that important. This part is very important. This is how everything begins. This part's not important. This part is very important. This is part of the show. This is part of the book for a reason. This part's not important. This part is very important. What are we doing? We don't need to add this. This is the background. We definitely need that. The look of everything. You definitely need that. We need this. I need that. That all this has to be in there. There's no taking out anything. All this needs to be in there. I can eliminate all that. All that can be eliminated. The TV series can just do what it needs to do. It can hit on everything. It can even go in deep details. If there was a, hey, what about this character? You kind of like this character a lot. You want to do more details? Actually, yeah. Let's make a more original content. I could add more original stuff into it that I didn't get to when I was writing it the first time, because I didn't want to make it freaking 800 pages long or something like that. But if the movement is books into television series being reborn, perfect. I'm excited. I can't wait for it, and I hope it's very successful, not only for me, but for you too, as fans and fans of books. It gives me a brighter future, especially when we're writing books and we get to have that television option outside of just the movie option. That'd be great. Both is great, but television shows better. That's my personal opinion alone. Let me know down in the comment section what you're thinking. You guys make sure you hit the like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, especially for all these anime reviews we're doing, especially for the random reviews we are doing, especially for upcoming big anime projects that I got to work on, which is Avatar: The Last Airbender, Naruto, Dragon Ball. All those are getting broken down into arcs at some point when I get to them, once we get through the rest of these anime reviews. This podcast, it is available here on YouTube. But if you're not on YouTube, which is A-OK, you don't have to be on YouTube to listen and watch this video. You can also go to Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Pandora, and Castbox. Those are all the platforms. Those are the audio exclusive. Well, not audio exclusive, but those are another spots you can go ahead and jump onto if you're not on YouTube to listen to the podcast. The podcast is once a week. Doing my best once a week to be uploaded. Now, if you're looking for something that is focusing on nothing but wrestling, if you need your wrestling niche, which you're watching wrestling by yourself or something, you need to listen to it. Dre's Wrestling Talk Podcast. That is available on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. I am Dre, and I'll catch y'all on the next video.